guys, welcome back. Today I'm making another exciting dish for you. It's called a bunny chow, originally from South Africa, more specifically from Durban, and I'll tell you a little more about it, but let's get started right away. So I have some oil that's heating up in my pot over here, and the first thing I want to put in there are some dry whole spices. So I have some fennel seeds or saunf, and cloves, some cinnamon, some cardamom, and one bay leaf that's been chopped up into 4 pieces. So that doesn't take too long. We just want the essence to filter into the oil. So I think that looks good there. And we're going to next add our curry leaves. This is about 1 sprig of curry leaves. And some green chilli. And about a cup of onions, just 1 whole onion. I'm also going to add some ginger garlic paste. Okay, so now my onions are sauteed, they're translucent at this point. So I'm going to add some dry spice as well. What I have here is red chili powder, Kashmiri red chili powder, some coriander powder, and garam masala, and I have some cumin powder and some turmeric. So all that goes in together. This I'm going to add a little bit of water. Okay, my onions have nicely sauteed. So I'm going to at this point add my meat. Now this dish can be made vegetarian. For vegetarian, you just use chickpeas instead of meat. It can be made with chicken if you don't eat red meat. This is what I'm using here today is lamb. And we give that a bit of a stir, let that fry with the spices for just a couple minutes. So while that's frying, let me talk about bunny chow. Bunny chow was actually invented by the Indians who moved to Durban, South Africa many decades ago. And the reason it's called a bunny chow is the first Indians who moved there were the banias or the traders. And a very common name for food in South Africa is chow. And chow is by the Chinese who also moved there. So it started being called a banya chow, which eventually morphed into the bunny chow, which is what it's called today. And very famous food you get all over the streets of Durban and South Africa in general. And of course, it's gaining popularity in India now, so I want to make this video so you all can make it at home as well. Okay, so my meat has browned off nicely. At this stage, I'm going to add a little bit of sugar to cut through the spice in there. And I'm also going to add a little bit of vinegar to this. Now, vinegar also acts as a tenderizer, so it helps in breaking down the meat and cooking it off easier, and obviously it adds a lot of flavor too. So we add that, give that a quick stir, and then we want to add our tomato puree. And that's pretty much it for the masala. I have potatoes here, as you can see. I'm going to add them a little bit later. And for now, we give this a stir. So what I want to do is let the tomatoes cook off first. And I'm going to let that cook for about 2 minutes. And then we'll add some water and the potatoes, and it should be done. Okay, our tomatoes have cooked through nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the potatoes in. I'm adding them with skin on. If you don't like the skin, you can take them off. The skin has a lot of nutrients, guys. So, you know, make sure you, if you don't mind that, then make sure you use the skin because you'll get more nutrients out of it. And I'm going to add some salt to taste. For what I have in here, I think about a teaspoon or so should do it. Maybe just a tad more. And I'm also going to add some water to it. You can add you can keep adding water as you go. You don't have to add all of it now because at the end we want a nice thick gravy. We don't want this to be thin because it's going to go inside a loaf of bread. I'll show you how when this meat is done. So now that's looking good to be covered. So we want to cover this for about 20 minutes or so and let the meat cook off and the potatoes as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over here and show you a little salad that's made that's made with the bunny chow traditionally. It goes very well with that. And it's very simple. Actually, in India, we call this koshambir or kachumbar. and it's essentially some carrots, and then I have some cucumber as well. So we grate these two, and the other ingredients are finely chopped. So I'm going to add some cucumber with the water. Notice there's water in there. So I'm going to add that water as well. That's cucumber water. And I have about half a finely chopped onion. You don't want that too fine. You want to get that nice crunch of onion. I have some tomatoes as well. That's 1 tomato. Drop that in there. And I have some lime juice. And this is a little more than I need. I'm going to use juice for about 1 lime approximately. So I think that should do it. And I also have 1 green chilli that's finely chopped. Drop that in there. And then I have some freshly chopped coriander. I'm going to use a little bit of that. And then I'm going to add salt and pepper. That's it. So a little bit of salt to taste. That should do it. And I'm going to grind some pepper in there. And all we do is stir this. Now the best way to stir this, you can use a spoon, but the best way is just use your hands. It gets nicely tossed. And you don't want to crush it. You want those ingredients to remain whole. You just want to combine them. So I'm gently tossing them just a few times till you get a nice combined salad. And the salt also gets nicely mixed in there. So there you have it. That's my salad that goes with bunny chow. So we have that. We have this going for about 20 minutes. When we come back, we'll get to the next step. Okay folks, so now you can see I have my stuffing for the bunny chow ready. And it's got a nice thick gravy. That's what you want. And if you're making this with chickpeas, now chickpeas is better boiled in advance. So it's easier to cook, right? And that's for the vegetarians. This is of course with meat. So we're going to start assembling the bunny chow. So for the bunny chow, what I have here is half a loaf of bread. This is homemade bread. You can see how tender and soft that is. And that's made of course by Anu. If you want to know how to make this bread, that recipe is also on our YouTube channel. And what I'm going to do is cut this up and scoop it out so I can put my meat stuffing, or if you're vegetarian, your chickpea stuffing in there. So now what I want to do is I have my hollow here with the bread, and I'm going to put my meat in there along with some of the sauce. There you go folks, we stuffed that nicely with some of that bun in there. And Arman, you want to come over here and taste it? So we put some. Okay. I'll dress it up with some coriander. I'll take a little small piece, and be careful, it's hot, okay? So I'm going to give you a nice little taste. Okay, try that. We have 5. Alright. So there you have it folks. Bunny chow and Durban, South African dish, popular now in India as well. So hope you enjoy it. Do subscribe. I'll see you next time.